What's up, guys? This is my predictions video for the Bellator NYC card, or New York City. This is actually one of the best cards ever from Bellator. Might even be the best. And one of the best MMA cards of the whole year. And it's competing with the UFC Fight Night at Oklahoma City. And Bellator won this weekend with the names, the competition, the level of fighters, and etc. So I'm actually very excited to see this card. Let's start with Shinza Machida versus James Gallagher. This should be a really fun fight, and it's between two prospects, I guess, but Shinza Machida is the older brother of Lyoto. It's kind of interesting. You have Shinza, who is pretty much the smaller version of Lyoto Machida, but he's much quicker, and he throws a lot of leg kicks as well. The same karate stance, same karate style. He's really hard to take down, which could be the key in this fight. If he could stop Gallagher's takedown attempts, he should do fairly well in this fight. He has really fast hands, very good countering ability, especially lately. He's been knocking a lot of people out. And he's fighting Gallagher. He has a strange style, but he's more of a submission fighter. He wants to get it to the ground eventually, but he's willing to strike with his opponents, which could be trouble for him in this fight if he wants to stand with Shinza. He likes to taunt his opponents. He likes to be aggressive. He likes a heated fight. He also takes kind of a karate style as well on the feet. But ultimately what he wants to do in this fight is get it to the ground because he is the better grappler overall than Machida. So in this fight, I'm going to go with Shinza Machida, and I'm going to go by a decision or a third round knockout. I think he's going to stop the takedowns, and I think he's going to be too fast and too technical for Gallagher. I think Gallagher's going to have a very hard time hitting Machida, and if he exposes himself too much, I think Machida will catch him. Then we go to the feature fight on the Spike card. Prelims, pretty much. Phil Davis versus Ryan Bader 2, which is crazy, right? It's two of the best light heavyweights in the world, not even on the NYC card, you know? Their first fight in the UFC was, let's be honest, was pretty boring. I mean, nothing really happened in the fight. Both of these guys are wrestlers, really good wrestlers at that. Both have developing their striking, especially Ryan Bader. You're starting to see Bader get more comfortable on the feet, letting go of his hands and his kicks, and not be as shy about it. He's really traditional on the feet. His boxing is very straightforward. Straight punches down the middle. Doesn't want to waste too much energy throwing wide, winging punches. He's really good at faking takedowns and coming up with a knee, as you've seen what he did to Alir Latifi. And his wrestling is very pressuring. It's very similar to Phil Davis' style, but much more physical, whereas Phil Davis uses more technique. And then you have Phil Davis, who is the longer fighter. He's been trusting his boxing more lately, but I don't think he's going to go that route. I think he's going to try to take Bader down and be more patient in the fight. He's one of the best wrestlers, credential-wise. And my prediction for this fight, I'm going to go with Ryan Bader. I think he's improved much more than Phil Davis throughout the years. He's developed more skills, more techniques, and I think it's going to win him the fight. I think Phil Davis is going to have a hard time taking him down. And on the feet, I see Phil Davis having a lot of trouble with the boxing of Ryan Bader. So I'm going to go with Ryan Bader. I'm going to go by a decision. And then we go to the NYC card, or the main card, pretty much. Even though I'm very curious to see what Aaron Pico has to offer, I really don't know what to say about him. He's a good wrestler and he's a good boxer, as what he's shown in other sports, but this is mixed martial arts. It's going to be a little bit different for him, so I'm very curious to see how he shows up. But I'm going to start with Michael Chandler versus Brent Primus. Both are scrappy fighters, both have a lot of heart, and both have no quit in them. Chandler is more of a wrestler, but he's developed a really good boxing game. He's extremely athletic. His takedowns are very strong, very aggressive. Top game is very pressuring. He's just an overall pressuring heavy fighter. He reminds me a lot of Chad Mendes, but a bigger version. And he's fighting Brent Primus, who's well-rounded as well. He utilizes everything on the feet, but although he might be a little bit labored on the feet, he doesn't snap his punches. He more like pushes them through. He's also a good wrestler, very aggressive, and he doesn't stop until he gets the takedown. So he's going to go for multiple shots. Try to get Chandler against the cage and try to take him down, which could be very hard. He has really good submissions and really good transitions on the ground. But ultimately, I'm going to go with Michael Chandler here. I think he's going to be too much on the feet. I think Brent is going to be forced to try to grapple with Chandler, and I think Chandler will beat him there too. Especially on the feet, though, I think Chandler is going to be a little too fast, more powerful, and more technical. So I'm going to go with Michael Chandler. I'm going to go by a second round knockout. Then we go to Douglas Lima versus Lorenz Larkin. Probably the most anticipated fight of the card, if you look at level of fighters and skill. This is the best division in Bellator. The welterweight division is the most stacked, and now we're having possibly the two best fighters in the division fighting each other. And these are two of the best welterweights in the world. And one, you have Douglas Lima, who's the champion of Bellator. He's a striking heavy fighter, uses a more Muay Thai approach. He's very technical, very patient, but very dynamic as well. All his shots are to knock you out. He's very quick. He's a big guy for the division. He's really accurate as well. And he's fighting Lorenz Larkin, who's also a striker, so this is going to be a striking match. Lorenz Larkin is also very dynamic, so fast. This guy's extremely quick for a welterweight, has some knockout power, very creative, unorthodox as well. So this fight could very well be a toe-to-toe exchanging match. Very technical though, so this can be very exciting to see. It's a hard fight to call, but I'm going to go with Lorenz Larkin, and I'm going to go by a late TKO. I think it's going to be a good fight. I think Larkin's going to take over for most of the fight, but I do see Lima giving him problems. I do see Lima giving a good fight back, but I see Larkin being too technical, too fast, and too creative out there. I think the speed is going to be big, and the unorthodox unpredictability of Larkin is going to throw the more traditional style of Lima off. Then we go to the co-main event, Phaidor Emelianenko versus Matt Mitrione. This might be the hardest fight to call in the night because we don't really know what Phaidor is going to show up. He's taking a lot of punishment. He's been through a lot of wars, older fighter, and he's fighting Mitrione, who's also had his own share of wars, and I think this fight could be done with the first punch that lands clean. Here you have Phaidor, who is one of the greatest of all time, possibly the greatest heavyweight of all time. As I said, much older. He still has his speed and his ferociousness, but his chin is just not there. His ability to take shots like he used to is completely out the window, so he can be dropped by anything Mitrione really throws at him. Looking at how Fabio Maldonado rocked Phaidor, almost put him out, Mitrione hits way harder, so that could be really bad for Phaidor. But Phaidor is pretty good with his boxing, although he's a bit wild. He overwhelms his opponents. He likes throwing those casting hooks or the Russian hooks, and he likes transitioning to the clinch and taking opponents down with trips, throws, judo style, or sambo style. And he's particularly good with fighting opponents who are taller than him because of that overhand right. It's so accurate. Looking at the Andrei Arlovski fight and some of the other huge opponents he's faced in Pride. And Mitrione is more of a striker. He doesn't want to go to the ground. Very athletic. His footwork is some of the best in all heavyweights. He hits really hard. He's really quick with his hands. He has some of the most devastating leg kicks. But I haven't seen him that much lately. But ultimately in this fight, I'm going to go with Phaidor Emelianenko. If he gets the fight to the ground, there's going to be a huge difference in skill there. But the problem is, can he get him down? That's going to be the hard part because how athletic and how strong and how big Mitrione is. Another thing is, Mitrione relies a lot on his speed, on his ability to get in and out really quick, but I think Phaidor is going to be much faster. So a huge weapon of Mitrione, I think it's going to be overcome by Phaidor. And I see Phaidor clipping him with an overhand right or something like that, but you never really know how these heavyweight fights go, especially when both fighters are older. They lose their ability to take punches. Any shot can end the fight. So I'm just going to go with Phaidor, and I'm going to go by a first or second round knockout. Then we go to the main event, Chael Sonnen versus Wanderlei Silva. This is an interesting fight. We have Chael, who's a wrestler, really grinding fighter, does not stop, has great cardio. One of the most pressuring fighters I've ever seen. And when he gets his opponent to the ground, he will throw strikes constantly. Doesn't matter how much power he generates. Hammer fist, 3 inches from the face, just hammering on his opponent over and over again until they open up and he can transition or get a better position. His stand-up striking is also very pressuring. It's all revolved around him getting the double leg or pushing his opponent against the cage so he could take him down. So he is willing to go right into the fire and go right through the opponent to get him down. And it's going to be interesting with Wanderlei because Wanderlei is a striker predominantly. I know he's somewhat of a high level in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, having a black belt, but he has not shown that really. And the big X factor here, or the big question here is, how is Wanderlei going to show up? He's been out of competition for such a long time. Over 4 years he has not fought. His last fight was Brian Stann in the UFC. And Wanderlei has been through so many wars in his career. He's been hit so many times, knocked out. His sparring is just as dangerous as his fighting. I mean, he goes all out anywhere he goes when he puts on gloves. I don't really know where his chin is at. I don't know if he's slowed down because of his age. But I don't think it's going to be as much of a factor to other fighters as it will be for Wanderlei because Wanderlei is always training and he's sparring just as hard as he fights. He's still getting those rounds in and still getting those battles in and the use of going at the opponent full on. He's a striker with devastating knees. Everything he throws to knock the opponent out. Really wild hands. Those hooks, haymakers. He's not too technical, but he's effective. It's weird. Have you ever seen Wanderlei hit the mitts? It's not that good, especially for a professional fighter. But when he goes out there and fights, it works for him. It's very strange. But the big area for Wanderlei here is the clinch. Can he get the Muay Thai plum, the Muay Thai clinch, and land knees on Chael? Can he time the knees? Because Chael is not going to be in there for the hooks. Chael is going to come straight down the middle, wait for Wanderlei to throw his hooks, and change his levels, go for a double leg. So my prediction for the fight, I'm going to go with Chael Sonnen. I'm going to go by a decision or by a late stoppage. I see him timing Vanderlei's wide hooks, his haymakers, coming down the middle with straight shots, change levels, and get the double leg and take him down and just dominate him. And also, Chael does have the better movement. He has much better footwork than Vanderlei. Vanderlei is one of the most plotting fighters I've ever seen. So I see Chael timing him with his movement, pressuring Vanderlei to throw those hooks, change levels, take him down, and just dominate him all around. Switching positions, landing these shots constantly, and tiring out Vanderlei. So that's the video, guys. Those are my predictions. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you enjoy my content, make sure to subscribe. I'm going to make another predictions video for the UFC card coming really soon, so be on the lookout for that. And comment below what your guys' predictions are. What do you guys think about the Bellator card? Who you guys think is going to win and why? I'm really curious to see what you guys think, because I think this is the best Bellator card ever. Top 3 best MMA cards of the year. Really good path for Bellator right now. Really solid run for them in the Coker era. So make sure you guys watch the fights. It's going to be an excellent card. Really good fights. Aaron Pico is a guy to watch out for. Really highly regarded prospect in MMA. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.